Monday morning. If you've just tuned in, I'm Michelle Craig. A warm welcome to you. This is ENCA Now. All right, let's bring you this story now. Families who haven't been compensated for the deaths of Life Esidimeni patients are marching to Gauteng Premier David Makhura's office this morning. Former Deputy Chief Justice Gauteng Premier ruled that each family should receive 1.2 million rand. The deadline for that payment was the 19th of June. The Premier's office confirmed all payments had been made by the 13th of June. So the question is, how did these families slip through the cracks? Well, our reporter Slindelo Masikane is in the CBD at that protest action. She joins us now live. Slindelo, how many families are we talking about?
At this stage, Michelle, if I can just move out of shot to show you, we've got a few families here, just around 30 to 40 families that have come out to the Premier's office to demand answers. They're saying that they are part of that group which was read out by the former Deputy Chief Justice when he awarded the compensation in March. They're saying that till today they have not been paid. And what we do know from the Gauteng government is that they say that obviously after the arbitration there were a number of families that came forward after that process, and so those families are the ones they say that have not been paid, and that's because of a verification process that is underway. These families need to go to the master of the court and get a certification basically to say that they are in fact family members of either the deceased or some of the survivors in order for government to be able to lay that claim. But Michelle, if I just take you to my left, I'm joined by one of the family members who says that they were meant to be paid by that June deadline and still hasn't been paid. What is the government telling you?
Good afternoon. My uncle, John Mosetlane, he passed away in 2016 at the Masego NGO in Krugersdorp. He was originally from Life Esidimeni Randfontein. He was mentioned by the Honorable Dikgang Moseneke as one of the deceased who are to be compensated on the 19th of June. And then up until that date, we were not compensated as a family. We went on to inquire that you as the government, you made a promise that you will compensate, and then they said, no, we made a mistake. The judge actually, not the government, the judge made a mistake by mentioning his name as one of the deceased who's supposedly to be compensated. Up until today, we're asking for answers. What mistake did he make? The Honorable Judge Moseneke, if you can hear me, can you please come and give answers to our family? We didn't ask for compensation. We wanted justice. These people have killed my uncle because at the Life Esidimeni in Randfontein, he was well, very well. We were visiting him, me and my mother and other family members. He was well. And then as soon as he went to Masego NGO, within weeks, he passed on. He was not sick, he was nothing. And then we went there. I went there to inquire, what is the cause of the death? They couldn't give me answers. They said he was well, but subsequently passed on. I said, where are the police statement? An inquest. Why didn't they open an inquest? The police. Where's the police report? To check if they must take the body to the post-mortem so that we can know. They didn't do that.
So,
Instead, we were sent from pillar to post. We attended so many meetings. My mother is tired of this. I have to take him from Carltonville. I'm staying in Johannesburg. Every time there's a meeting, I have to drive to Carltonville to bring her to the meeting. But we don't get answers. All they tell us is that the judge has made a mistake by announcing his name.
Did you come to the Gauteng government as a claimant? Did you go through the verification process that they are speaking about to ensure that you indeed are the family member of the deceased?
There is this guy they call Bafana from the Premier's office. I've been in contact. I even have WhatsApp with him, communication on WhatsApp with him. We gave them everything that they wanted from the uncle's details, everything. And then we were told that there will be compensation on the 19th of June. The advocate, Dikgang Moseneke, announced on television that your uncle, Mosetlane John Padi, family will be compensated on the 19th of June. It has never been done. We asked why. They said the judge made a mistake. Okay, what mistake did the judge make? we still have to get answers today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Padi. I'm just now going to take you, as you've heard from one of the family members, we're now joined by the Gauteng government spokesperson, Thabo Masebo. You've heard from this particular family member who says that he is part of this group that was mentioned by the former Deputy Chief Justice. Why have these families not been paid?
No, Justice Moseneke read out the names of all the deceased, all of them. And that includes the people who were who were part of the arbitration proceedings and those that were not part of the arbitration proceedings. So all of them qualify, but at the arbitration proceedings, there was a list of all the people who were to be compensated. And that list, Justice Moseneke confirmed it on the day he issued the award. The list had there were three lists which were annexed to the report. Annexure A, Annexure B, and Annexure C. All the people who were on that list were paid within the deadline that was set by Justice Moseneke. Government complies with the law. We always act within the law. We would not do anything that is unlawful. We are satisfied that we have fully complied with the order, with the award given by Justice Moseneke. After the award was given, Justice Moseneke then said, I am not unmindful that there may be other family members that were affected but which were not part of these proceedings. And he said, as and when they do find their voice and way, they will approach government, and he expects government to treat their claims exactly the same way as, or with the same terms as contained in the award. Sure, indeed, there were people who approached government and who were part of the affected families. They have now registered their claims, and those claims are being verified. The only thing is that we have to act within the law. So the law stipulates that people making claims have to get confirmation from the master of the court that they are indeed related to the people on whose behalf they are making the claim. So we have to follow the law, because if we don't follow the law and we pay wrong people, we would be liable for that public funds that we would have used. So we are doing this to ensure that at the end of this process, everything in terms of the law, everything will have been done in terms of the law.
Thabo, so I have to ask, how many families are we looking at?
We will only know once we have the families coming forward with the documents from the master of the court.
But you've been having meetings with these families post the 19th of June.
No, yes. I'm saying, let me again reassure everybody that government is fully prepared to pay. We want to pay all the affected families, but in paying, we have to follow the process of the law.
All right, why was then a deadline given of the 10th of December? Why are these families here today saying that over the weekend, you as government came, you called a meeting and said by the 10th of December we're going to pay you?
The 10th of December is our wish as government, because we would like to settle these claims as soon as possible. And for us to do that,
for you
being pushed here, I can't.
Okay, Michelle, the families are a bit frustrated right now, so we're just going to try to get them to calm down. Thabo, you were saying that you have to follow the law.
Yes, we have to follow the law. And as I'm saying to you, the law stipulates that when somebody is making a claim, they have to produce the proof that they are, which confirms the relationship with the people, with the person on whose behalf the claim is being made.
So government cannot make a commitment as to when these families will be paid. That is where we are.
To settle the payment as soon as possible. If it is when.
I would like to ask you a question, sir. The order.
You're not the journalist.
I am a survivor parent. I'm a mother.
Allow her to ask the question. Allow her. Okay.
I'm a mother. He said they must do the right thing and verify since March 2018 up until now. When they moved our loved ones, they had lists. When we verified the list on the 15th of September, we had lists.
Yes.
But Thabo, can you as government say that you failed these families at this stage? It's the 10th of December and they haven't been paid, and you still can't confirm when they'll be paid.
Government made all the payments in accordance with the award of Justice Moseneke. Deadline of June 19 was met, but thereafter there were more people who came forward. As expected, we are now dealing with the claims. And as I said to you, we have to follow the process of the law.
Lastly, on my
the commitment that I would like to give is that we will pay. We will pay all the people who are affected, but having complied with the requirements of the law.
Thabo, I need to also ask, is there a deadline for other families that are going to come forward? When does this process actually end? Is there a deadline for people to come forward to make these claims?
Well, that will have to be answered by the Justice Department. All I can say to you, as government, we are fully committed to pay all the claims that have been made as a result of the award that was given by Justice Moseneke, and we are working very hard to do that. And as I said to you, we will not do anything that will result in us being in contempt of the court.
Lastly, on my part, Thabo, there are also still around 21 missing patients. Where's that process?
No, that we are dealing with. It's a combination of a number of things, including the records that we have between us and Life Esidimeni, but we'll continue to work on that to ensure that at the end we can fully account for all the people who were at Life Esidimeni.
Thank you so much. All right, that was the Gauteng government spokesperson, Thabo Masebo. As you can hear, no commitment as to when these families will be paid, just a promise that they will be paid.
Slindelo, before we let you go, what's your reading of the situation there? Has government met that June-July deadline to pay all of the original claimants? The people who are protesting outside the Premier's office, are these new claimants?
Like you've heard from the guest who spoke to us before I turned to Thabo Masebe, he is part of that group that was read out by the former Deputy Chief Justice when he read out his award in March. He is a part of that original group. He's saying that his brother's name was mentioned by the Deputy Chief Justice. It was read out into the record, and yet by the 10th of December, still to date, he hasn't been paid. So we're seeing a mixed group of those who are part of that original claim, as well as new claimants that have come after that arbitration process, where they're now being put through this verification process to ensure that they actually are the family members. But the issue is that it's taking too long for them. They've been attending what they say are countless meetings with government officials, the latest one actually being this past weekend, where they were promised that the payment would be in by the 10th of December, and that still hasn't happened. And so that is why they find themselves here today on this Monday morning demanding to see the Premier. We understand that he isn't at his offices. They're saying that it seems as though government is now trying to steal some of that money. In fact, one of the women, they had actually gone inside the Premier's office demanding to see him, and the security would only let them as far as the reception. In fact, I'm with one of the women now who was in the reception, who was really saying that government is trying to steal the money. Why do you think government is trying to steal money?
Because that's what they always do. Our government is always stealing from the poor of the poorest. And right now, the reason why are they telling us stories all of a sudden? Because the first people were paid without any stories, without the master's court issue. But now they need to pay the rest of the people. Now they're coming up with stories. That is why we're saying, as usual, our government is coming up with another tactic of stealing the money. They're always thinking of the best way of how to steal people, the poorest of the poorest money.
Thank you. And as you can see, Michelle, I'm just going to ask Joe to show you what we're seeing right now. We've got police on the scene. The families are back inside the Premier's office. It seems like the police are obviously trying to control the situation. Government officials are also trying to, calm people down, really. I am seeing some police officials from the Gauteng Traffic Department as well. The tempers are high here. Families are really angry. They really feel as though government has been playing with them. They are, making commitments and not really meeting those deadlines. Michelle.
Slindelo, at what point does the Gauteng Premier address these people directly? I mean, he was the one who confirmed that all of these payments had been made by, in fact, the 13th of June, when the deadline was the 19th of June. Are we in touch with his spokespeople around when he can come and address this crowd directly?
No commitment. I actually did ask Thabo Masebe if he was in the building, and we're told that the Gauteng Premier is not here at these offices, and it does not look likely that he will be addressing these group of families. Michelle.
Our reporter Slindelo Masikane live to us there from Johannesburg. Certainly seems like claimants related to the Life Esidimeni tragedy, people getting mixed messages there. We were told that that deadline to pay the 1.2 million rand for each family affected by the Life Esidimeni tragedy, that deadline had been reached. In fact, on the 13th of June, we're now on the 10th of December. Some families claiming to still not have received a cent.